Coach PJ here. I'm a big fan of the calendaring system known as Calendly, which allows people to schedule time on your calendar based on the windows of opportunity, the windows of availability that you provide them. It makes it easy when you're trying to schedule with someone. You don't have to go back and forth and share times and check times and share times and check times. Let's take a look at the founder, where the idea came from, and what was the inspiration for this.
My dad inspired me to be an entrepreneur because he himself was an entrepreneur. So he had a great job at a major corporation in Nigeria, but then he decided one day to give that up and pursue starting his own business. And so that inspired me to become an entrepreneur. He was also a risk taker, the very fact that he sort of gave up the comfort of a stable job to start his own business. And he was incredibly hardworking, right? So I vividly remember many late nights in which he was working into the night, and all that really inspired me to become an entrepreneur.
What's interesting about Calendly is from the outside, it almost seemed to come out of nowhere because Tope had funded it himself, he bootstrapped it, and then all of a sudden it was worth $3 billion last year with the latest venture round. So that was really interesting. It was sort of like the same way that MailChimp, which is also an Atlantic company, had come out of nowhere in that way. So at this point, Calendly is quite a substantial company. It has over 400 people, over 100 million in revenue, and it could double its revenue again this year. So Tope is a new billionaire this year on the list. He's worth 1.4 billion based on his majority stake in the company, and that's after the 10% discount that Forbes takes on all privately held company shares.
A few things on this. He took the inspiration of hard work. He learned the value of hard work from his family, from his father. That's really important because it takes hard work. Although there's overnight successes, and they talked about how fast this grew, it isn't really an overnight success from the standpoint of there's hard work involved. You don't go to bed with a dream and the next morning you're worth $3 billion company. You have to make it happen. You have to have a vision, and you have to work hard towards pushing that vision forward and breaking down the barriers. Let's see the rest of his story.
The idea for the company came from a frustrating experience I had trying to schedule a meeting. So I was looking to schedule a very important customer meeting, and many days later and many emails later, we were no closer to finding a time. This inspired me to really learn about the problem of scheduling and why it was so difficult. And out of that sort of investigation came this obsession with solving scheduling. Since then, the product has evolved into more than scheduling, into sort of what we call automating the meeting life cycle. So automating the key tasks that happen during the preparation involved for the meeting so that our customers can have great meetings. One of the lessons I learned very early on in starting businesses is that first thing you want to do is when you see a problem, take action. Rather than wait for somebody else to solve a problem, there's no reason why you can't take a stab at solving it yourself. And so action is important, but I also learned that really having a differentiated approach, right? What is going to be different about your product or service? What is going to be different about the way you go to market and sell it and price it, right? All those things are really important. So it's important to do a lot of customer discovery, make sure you really understand the customers and the problem, and have a unique approach to solving the problem.
He makes some great points. One is know that your market actually wants this, and that there's a problem you're trying to solve. I talk to entrepreneurs all the time, and they have these great ideas, but there's not really an audience for the problem they're trying to solve. They just have an idea that they think would be great. But that market feedback, is the market ready for this? Is the need out there? Is it at a point where the market can accept it? Which is also another factor in this whole element. If the market can't accept it, it doesn't matter how good your product is. So really interesting. He had the problem, so he tried to solve it. And he took the initiative, which is huge for entrepreneurs as well. Let's keep watching.
What's interesting about him is he's this super smart guy, but he's also a little bit different than some founders because he didn't really care about having venture money. He didn't really care about some of the external things, but was focused on Calendly and how to make it work. And he really also just believed in himself in the way that he threw everything into it. He spent down his 401k. He flew into Ukraine while it was having its earlier conflict in order to get software engineers there to develop the first product. He bet everything on this company.
Being Nigerian means you grow up in an environment in which there's a lot of economic instability. There's also a lot of political instability. And so what ends up happening is a lot of Nigerians are incredibly resourceful people. And when I look at the success of Calendly today, I think some of that resourcefulness has been a huge part of our success. I bootstrapped the company, which means I started the company with my own funds, so capital was very limited in the early days. But I actually attribute this limited capital to the company's success today. The reason is it forced us to focus wisely. It also focused us to really understand problems at a deep level, which meant that we could implement simple, effective solutions to solve the problem. And I'm really proud of the fact that last year we crossed $100 million in revenue. That was a huge milestone for us because if you rewind back to 10 years ago, nobody really knew that there was a massive problem to be solved here. And the fact that we've done that has been really, really exciting.
I love the fact that he uses the term bootstrapped, and bootstrapped really is important, I think, in the entrepreneurial space. It's, getting funding is great and is helpful and really energizes your opportunity, but bootstrapping does give you that element of, I've got to figure this out, and I've got to figure it out both fast and economically, because you don't have a huge pile of money. You can't hire as many people as you want. You can't just go after it. You have to be hyper focused and very resourceful, as he mentioned as well, to make sure that your idea hits the marketplace. And you have to really start selling it and getting feedback from the marketplace sooner than later. You can't be in an incubation or in a startup mode indefinitely. And with a large investment, you might be able to. So the sooner you can get it in the marketplace, the sooner you can get the feedback from the marketplace to pivot and adjust your product, the better. Love this. If you aren't using Calendly, it's a great, great tool. Love the seamlessness, love the convenience of it. If you like this video and you want to see more, put some comments in below as to what you want to see. Like, subscribe. Your business profit. Until next time.